headband today. Trying to make sure y'all can't tell whether or not my bathroom is dirty. You cannot. Hi y'all, so I'm gonna do a get ready with me because I be drawing or putting makeup on, and I figured if I come on live, I would actually put makeup on. And we just gonna do this where somebody give me a topic and we'll discuss it. I'll pin it. You can either submit a question or give me a topic and we can go from there. Do I want to put a headband on? Is the next question. I think we're gonna go ostentatious today. Put on a headband. We're not going nowhere but to the couch because we gotta record a video for Patreon. This headband's a lot, but this is the mood of the day. We might go get some food, but you know, I live in Charlotte and I live near where they had the RNC at, so we're not trying to catch COVID. So we're gonna be in the house for the most part. All right, you know what I mean? We're not trying to mess with these white people games they playing. Not with the shits. All right. I don't do acronyms, so if you asking a question, you gotta type that shit out, baby. You can't give me no letters. We just a regular ass black girl. I ain't got nobody donkey. We don't. Oh, I thought something about to knock over. New York and Company. My shorts are from New York and Company. When things are going good, why do some of us self-sabotage? Because people have imposter syndrome. I got food in my braces and it's driving me crazy. Do y'all care about what products I use on my face? Pat McGrath. People have imposter syndrome, and I think particularly for those of us that come from working class households. I ain't been in the sun, so my foundation don't even match, but it's okay. It's what we have. You know, you get to that point in life where it's like, oh, things are going well, and you're so used to like something not going right that it's not even that we so much self-sabotage and we like do things that are purposely harmful, but we are so ready for something to go wrong that we miss a blessing, right? That we miss the good, we miss the celebration. And I think it's also about a part of vulnerability and about risk and just like working from a space of fear, which is incredibly difficult to move away from. And it's really something a lot of us go through. And then imagine not like having a sense of self and going through this. You know, there's just a lot. There's a lot there, bruh. But I hope that gives you some answers. Would I consider leaving the United States? Blacksit. First of all, I ain't fucking with nothing that Candace Owens doing. So fuck that Blacksit shit. I don't know. I think that's about leaving the Democratic Party. But, you know, I really like London, but the weather sucks. So how are we going to move to a place that has like 1 month of summer? I was just talking to Akila about we're going to pull up to London, though, once it's everything over, because I really miss Disham. Baby, I miss Shoreditch. I miss the exotic food, the ethnic food in the UK. But live there? You know, ideally, at some point, I would like to be able to season. I think we have to stop. I'm not a permanent resident of anywhere. So I would like to season in places. I would like to be able to have extended stays in places. But move and abandon my black people. You know, I love my people. I love my heritage and I love being African American. So this idea that I would sort of abscond to a foreign land that's not my own. I would summer there. I would winter there. You know, do wealthy auntie things there, but live there full time? No. And here we go. Would I move to a whole continent with 54 legally recognized countries? I do actually think there's technically more than 54 countries, but whatever, bruh. I don't know. It's a vast continent, you know, it's really big, and I've been in maybe 5 countries there. So I can't say. I would like to go to Rwanda, and I really, really, really want to go to Senegal and Ivory Coast. But bitch don't speak no French. So would I move to a place where I don't speak the language? Not really. I don't know. But I also haven't been. So maybe my mind might change. You know, maybe once I go explore. But again, are we moving permanently? No. And I think that whole repatriation thing of like African Americans, and you know, it's a certain class of African Americans who get access to a certain amount of monies. that go buy land. They get a DNA test, go buy land. First of all, a bitch done found her cousins. They still live in Nigeria. A bitch is not Igbo. It's some other shit. It's like ethnic. And fourth cousins. And they are from somewhere near Calabar. And is that River State? I remember when I lived in Houston, people always said, you look like you're from River State. Whatever the fuck that meant. This is why I don't do get ready with me's anymore, because I can't think and do my makeup at the same time like they. But I think this idea that getting a DNA test, and as someone who has like found actual family that still lives on land, it's just like this idea that I'm gonna go back with my privilege and like take from the people that are there. Because like, do you know how like land sales actually happen in most of the countries in like particularly West Africa? Baby, it's some other shit, and I just don't want to participate in the treachery, right? We got enough fuck shit happening here in the States, right, that I am assimilated to. So I don't necessarily want to like take my privilege and then co-opt somebody else's space. And I think we not necessarily having them conversations when we talk about going home in theory. Would you move for a man? Hell to the no, to the no, to the N-O, to the N spelled backwards. That's not my ministry. Would not participate. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. What city are you originally from? Oh, you don't know me. And does it compare to New York, to Charlotte, North Carolina socially? Okay. So who don't know that I'm from Delaware? Who don't know that? Does Newcastle, Delaware socially compare to Charlotte? That's gonna be a hard no. I got a master's. I did a master's program, and that was before I even started YouTube. And I am considering, because I'm reapplying for my PhD, but I am also considering, and we've been doing a bunch of talks, and we've been going through it, and it's actually not looking too bad this year. But it's just a lot of work, which is why I'm kind of slow on doing other things. But I've also been considering applying to a master's program, but I would do that if I don't get into the PhD program that I really want to go to. I might consider applying to a master's program that's local to Charlotte. Are there a lot of Black people in Charlotte you are considering moving there? So first, in the most kindest, respectful way possible, I'm not a real estate agent. So asking me questions, trying to feel whether or not you should move to someplace, very bad idea. I live very differently from a lot of people. I put up with a lot of different things. I do a lot of different things, especially now when we're looking at the new normal being in your house. You know what I mean? You're going to be in your house. I think there are just better people to kind of inquire about more specifics. And there's Charlotte's in North Carolina. If you trace your family history as African American, most of us got niggas in our family that come from North Carolina, come from South Carolina. And Charlotte's on the border of North and South Carolina, so it's niggaful. I have a whole video where I discuss it being niggaful, and there's definitely niggas here now. Class, economics, access, all that other, whole nother story. I discussed that in the video. Do I watch P-Valley? Pussy Valley, down in the valley where the girls get naked. First of all, I'm sad. This has been sad week, because you know what didn't come on this week? Pussy Valley. All right, Uncle Clifford is that nigga. I would like an Uncle Clifford in my life. I would like Loretta Devine to be my blind grandma. You know what I mean? Like, I love the show. I love the representation. I'm not from Mississippi, so I don't really have an attachment to the authenticity of them showing the Mississippi experience. But I love the nod to Southern Black culture, even though from what I've heard, it's a little bit more Memphis than it is actually Mississippi. So I will. But I love crooked letter S. You know what I mean? Clearly, I watched the show. And I love how they talk about like the colorism. It's not really like on the nose, but they give plenty of nods to the fact that light-skinned Black adjacent little bitch that rolled up really ain't that exceptional. Ain't nothing in Autumn Ain't nothing that interesting about that bitch. She the most least interesting character on the show. The white bitch might be more interesting than her, to be honest, okay? With the coked out mama, all right? She might be more interesting than Autumn, with the whisper and the batting of the non-existent eyelashes and that little bit of baby hair she got. I'm not fascinated. I'm not intrigued. But what the one with the church mama? How I forget her name? The main stripper. It makes me want to be flexible. That's for damn sure. It makes me want to get a pole. Why am I forgetting the main stripper name? They acting their ass off. I love the cast. All right, I am a fan of Pussy Valley. Ain't no reason for me to do a review though, because I am not from the SIP, so I don't have the cultural references to really give that show its good due. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But it's a good ass show. I highly recommend watching it. And if you ain't got, what is it, stars? Baby, MrWorldPremiere.net. A bitch put you on, okay? Okay, okay? It's a Paul tag. I think I'm gonna go get me some ribs tonight. I deserve. If I'm using a product, I like it, okay? So if you see me using a Benefit brow pencil, I like it. If you see me using Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel, I like it. Do I watch Lovecraft Country? Okay, so I know this is a book. We are reading Parable of the Sower in the book club this coming month, but I, as a reader on my own, have not really been into a whole lot of Afrocentric, Afro sci-fi. I'm not really into like fantasy books on my own. And so I've never heard of Lovecraft Country before this year. And I do have HBO. So I turned it on and I might have fell asleep. That's not an indictment on the show though. It's just, we don't know what we're watching. We don't know what's going on. And it was a lot of buildup. It was a lot of expose. It was a lot of, I was trying to multitask and scroll on Instagram and play spades on my phone. And I wasn't giving it due. So we have to go back and try again. We're going to try again. Because to be honest, Okay, what channels on YouTube and what shows are piquing my interest currently? I don't really consume a lot of media anymore. I've just kind of checked out on a lot of stuff. I just finished I May Destroy You. Exceptional. I will do a review on Patreon. We're going to get that done next week. Awesome television. Amazing. I love it. I've been trying to talk. I got a new therapist. I don't know if I like her. To be honest, I'm a little not feeling it, okay? But we are going to try and have a conversation. She just don't be engaging a bit. She just be looking at me. And I think sometimes I just be talking so much about so many different things she can't keep up. So, but the casual trauma, like, y'all, the way Michaela Cole, this is the Beauty Bakery, okay? Yeah, the way Michaela Cole addresses how casual trauma impacts us across identities, and not only how we as Black women walk into it, but how we as Black women pass it on to other folks, particularly our queer friends. The ways in which people we love, we can cause harm to them without intention. You know, I love that show. Great, amazing. Pussy Valley, bruh, exceptional television. Exceptional. I watched The Chi, all 3 seasons last month. And I must say, season 1 and season 2 was actually really good. Season 3, the girl that played Keisha acted her little black ass off. She ain't even little, and she a Howard graduate. She was dope as Keisha. They did that whole Black Girls Missing, that stuff this season. The guy that plays Ronnie, I don't even know how much he really acting, because he really do talk the same way Ronnie talk. But season 3, did Lena write that? Because it just felt untethered. Candy, can she act? I don't know. It was hard. It was hard to get through season 3. The end of the season was good. The end of the season, Lena acts the same way that Kenya Barris acts. And it's just, oh yes, okay. In the crease. So, Camille, that character, Duda, like, I actually thought Duda was acted well. I thought the storyline just sucked because certain things didn't make sense. They didn't add up. What happened to Quentin? How did Emmett just take the restaurant from Quentin's brother, not get no heat for it, and then that nigga just disappeared? He ain't die. Okay? I don't get it. I don't get the storyline. Like, I know y'all had to kill off your main character because that nigga was grabbing titties and ass and not apologizing for it on set. That's called sexual harassment. We know that. And I think they could have handled it better than what they did on season 3. Because the storyline just was all over the place. It was just like it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Them little kids acted their asses off. Kevin, Papa, I love Papa, my favorite character on The Chi. Guess what my favorite character is? Who y'all think my favorite character is on The Chi? Let me finish this little crease. Okay, put some color in there. I usually would be done my face by now, but because I'm talking, look, we got all these other things going on. My favorite character on The Chi is Emmett's daddy, the hotep ass nigga with the Bluetooth and 5, 7, 11 baby mamas. The whole tuppery I thought was hilarious. He was like a diet Tariq Nasheed without like the harmful platform. You know, like a nigga that, like, if you read Heavy, the Malachi Hunter, but without like the credit score, you know, because he comes across a little like almost middle class but not quite, you know what I mean? But Darnell was the Groupon. Darnell is my favorite character on The Chi because that is a real, first of all, that man, I don't even know he acted. He might be like that in real life, and niggas really is like that. But I appreciate that he might not have taken care of the first kid, but he's taking care of the rest of the kids. I appreciate the honesty, you know what I mean? Like, he know he ain't shit, and he really ain't trying to be more than the ain't shitness that he is, because patriarchy, right? It works for him. But I love Darnell. Darnell was hands down my favorite character. He made season 3 worth watching. Okay, somebody is saying they've been trying to get a syllabus. They probably emailed and I have not responded yet to their email because I do all the customer service for It's My Brown Girl. We updated the syllabus today. That was one of the things I did today. I went through each and every product that's downloadable and made sure that your shipping address should not matter and you should be able to purchase it. But it also comes down to your card. I can't do too much about Stripe because we use Stripe or PayPal. So as long as your payments are taken through there, you should be fine. Do I still prefer black therapists over white ones? I haven't found a white one that I like, but I don't imagine that I don't think inherently that getting a white woman therapist is bad. I don't know that I would go to any man therapist any heterosexual man. I might go to like a queer or trans non-cisgender man. But because patriarchy just a motherfucker, baby. The way that shit show up in therapy, ooh, yikes. Okay? Yike-tastic, right? And so I know people that have a white therapist that they like, and sometimes going to a white therapist is helpful because I do think there's a potential if you get like a well-read, culturally aware therapist, that it can go well, because I do think sometimes with black women that it gets a little, hey girl, hey. It gets a little like, yeah girl, yeah. You know? And a white therapist potentially could challenge you and still be a good fit, you know, not allow you to make excuses for the things you're going through. But I also think that's incredibly difficult to find, right? And I think finding a good therapist in general is just hard to find. So how do you prevent from procrastinating and having high productivity. I don't know why you think I have an answer for this question. I don't know what led you to believe that I do not procrastinate. Have you looked at my YouTube channel lately? When was the last video uploaded? I don't have an answer for this because I procrastinate. I've gotten to the point where if a bitch want to take a nap and it's her third nap of the day, look, we swimming in grief. We gonna take that nap. It's just a grace that I extend myself at this point. I can't have anxiety over my anxiety. You know what I mean? The layer of anxiety I already have. We just gotta acknowledge that shit and breathe through it. We meditate in the morning. We've been working out, which actually makes me less productive, to be honest. That's how I deal. You work out in the morning, burst of energy. No, bitch. It'd be a burst of naps, okay? And we take them. I just got up from one and it's 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, you know? Might take another one before I go to bed at 10. It's okay. The world's on fire. Who's trying to be highly productive right now? Everything's fucked up. You just go with the flow as much as you can. I am actually asking y'all what y'all mad about, but it's kind of like a rhetorical question. But you are mad about having fibroids as a black woman in the messed up medical system who doesn't hear me. That's some real shit, right? And it's kind of crazy, right? Because like, how do we as black women, or how do women in general really find out? And I don't know if it's different in other countries, but in America, it feels like when you, especially even if like, you know, I went and got checked, and not that I had any symptoms, but I heard so much discussion. I know so many people in real life who have fibroids or endometriosis and PCOS that I went and I asked to get checked, and they were looking at me like, why? And I'm like, because y'all be waiting. Y'all be waiting until it's like OD symptoms. Where's my other brush? And then running all these tests, and it's like, baby, I got health insurance this year. We gonna use all that shit up. I don't care if I got symptoms or not. Just check for it. Went got my knees checked, got my ankles checked. They're like, you healthy? Thank you. Now give me them x-rays so I can go get a second opinion. Because this year I got health insurance. Might not have that shit next year. You know, America be having you out here fucked up and amputated on some real shit. So I'm just trying to prevent. But I totally feel you. And I think there might be like Facebook groups now though, because there's more conversation about this. So I would definitely like post about this and ask if people know of resources where you can find a community around this. Because I do think societally we're coming to a better understanding of how to create community, to create these safe spaces, and how to heal through communion. So I would definitely suggest doing that. What was the hardest lesson I have learned from going to therapy? I don't know that. See, I'm one of them people that I go to therapy because I have cognitive dissonance. I know things. I know a lot of things. There really ain't too much a bitch don't already know. Is she putting said things she knows into action is the problem. And so I've been going to therapy for that. And there hasn't been a whole lot of hard things that have come about in my experience. And largely, therapy this year has revolved around how niggas ain't shit. And I guess like the hardest thing, like what caused me to cry. Do I really want to tell y'all that? Damn, my eyeliner ain't in here. What has caused me to cry the most? I mean, it was definitely about my ex, but I'm just trying to like, what about him? It was just like, oh, you know what? I guess the lesson that's been to put into praxis that's been the most difficult is learning how to celebrate. I'm not celebratory when it comes to my own stuff. And that's been a constant theme with any therapist that I've gone to, that the way I talk about myself and the way I talk about my work that I do, I'm very kind of nonchalant. You know, I'm very like, yeah, I do this. And I think one time in therapy, the last therapist that I had that I really liked, I was like talking about an event I did, and like somebody came up and said something to me, and then I read a message that I had received from one of y'all, and she's like, that's such a beautiful message. I started boohoo crying. It's just like, I just feel like nobody supports me. Like everybody comes into my life and just takes from me. But I love the work I do. I love my commitment to the work I do. But I wish people in real life, the niggas that get access to me in my day-to-day, would just be a little bit more respectful. But I do think the hardest lesson has been about extending myself grace. Because sometimes I just be tired. I be tired of constantly picking myself up and keep going. And sometimes I just want somebody else to pick me up. Blow my back out. Little things. It's okay. I don't know what some of these questions are about. Like, I don't watch a lot of TV, and then y'all just be naming TV shows. Do I ever get intimidated talking to some of my guests? I have an interview that should be coming out next week, and I wasn't necessarily intimidated, but sometimes, I don't even know if this is the right color, but that's what we call contouring. We tried. It might be a little too red, but oh well. It is a little too red. We're gonna try another color on top. Boop, boop, be-doo, boop, boop, boop. I am a person that responds a lot to other people's energy. And I think one thing that I've been trying to think of when I interview is that I don't necessarily need like this great like warm response from people, because sometimes people just aren't warm. And I think like when I interviewed Steed Hurden, he was a little dry, and it wasn't because he didn't like me, or it wasn't nothing personal. That's just like how he talks in real life. And I think he was thinking through some of the questions, right? Because I'm asking like these really layered questions. So a lot of people are just responding to like what you're asking. And I think I was expecting, because the first interview I did, my Senator Jeff Jackson was so like bubbly and like boop boop doo, that I was kind of like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be that, and it wasn't, and that kind of threw the way that I responded. But it's just being conscious of keeping your same tempo. And that's not intimidation. It's just an understanding of like the way people respond via an online interview. But no, there hasn't really been anybody I've been intimidated by. I do have someone that's coming up that was a really big deal, and I was just worried. I was constantly like trying to think, don't talk too much and don't waste her time. But she was super gracious, and hopefully when she get back and approve the video, it'll be posted next week. Do you ever think about writing a nonfiction book or a novel? I have a whole book called Send It On that is available on Amazon. It's been out for like years now. Oh, we need blush. I don't really promote it a whole lot. But it's published, and I think it's a pretty good book to read. Do I plan on writing another book? At some point in time, but, time. We don't have it. So, yeah. Okay, this person has asked this twice, so they really want to know, what are my views on Muslims in America, and how does America treat them well? I think Islamophobia is a real thing. I think it's even harder for Black Muslims, because a little bit of space that's cut out for the Muslims in America is often thinking about, it's still like a proximity to whiteness and European ideal, like European phenotype. And so I think Black Muslims still catch a lot of heat here, African Muslims. But I think I think there's a collective struggle. Somebody is asking if I'm a fan of Zora Neale Hurston. And if you look on Shop Smart Brown Girl, which is my website, there is a whole t-shirt with Zora Neale Hurston on it. You know what I mean? I don't know how we get here. I don't know how we got here. You know what? Also on my YouTube channel, there's a review of Barracoon, her last published book. But I guess some people are finding me because of the book stuff I'm posting currently on Instagram. But sometimes I wonder, have y'all not seen my body of work? Respectfully, you know, with love. Have you? You know, like, would I move to Atlanta? What do you want to get your PhD in? Are the black men more financially stable in Charlotte or Houston? So, please, I'm not a real estate agent. Please remember this. This is just opinion. Okay? Opinion. Opinion. Conjecture. All right? No facts. Just opinion. There's more scammers in Houston. There's oil and there's industry in Houston. And you have a much larger immigrant class. And the way immigration, legal immigration in the United States works is that they're taking the best of the best from these communities, especially when it comes to like African nations or Caribbean nations and therefore black people. Most people that get to legally immigrate, whether they come through school visas or fiance visas or whatever visas, because I know a lot of people think that, you know, Houston's mini Biafra, right? Houston's like 1/3 Nigerian. But you're getting a class of Nigerians that are upper middle class at least, right? That have a certain financial wealth. And they've been in the country for like 2-3 generations in Houston. And so even the people that are coming over, most Nigerians you will meet are like either in the medical industry, finance, or oil. And they're mostly, because of that, going to be from Southeast Nigeria because that's where the oil is in Nigeria. And so you have more wealth centered in Houston. And because Nigeria is a black ass country, you therefore have more black wealthy people in Houston. So does that answer your question? I don't know. There ain't no, is there wealth in Charlotte? Niggas is broke here. If that's what you would like to know. There is a middle class. I just don't know where you cohesively find them at. Maybe in university. I don't know where the folks be hanging out at like that. Like the folks with jobs. I don't really know. Like with jobs with 401k benefits and manager reviews. I don't know where them niggas be at. I know they exist because sometimes they geotag their pictures. But even when I look at like the job market here and the salary range, it's much lower than it is in Texas. There's just a lot more industry based in Texas. And Texas has more friendly business laws, which isn't necessarily a good thing for the people. Okay? But, and it's also like Charlotte has a lot of people from South Carolina. South Carolina has no infrastructure. Like none. Like that state 50% black and they don't give a fuck about none of the niggas there. None. Nikki Haley, who the governor now? Some white nigga. They don't give a fuck about their people. They really don't. It might be a little bit of something in Columbia, a little bit of something in Greensville, maybe a little bit of something. A whole lot of something in Charleston, and then a whole lot of nothing every place else. A whole lot of culture, but infrastructure wise, and like I love Southern culture, so I'm not saying like that black South Carolinians are like backwards or nothing, but like they are not properly set up to be able to mutually beneficial way exploit the culture of their community, right? They don't even have access to that. They don't get to profit from their own shit. Okay? So because of the proximity of South Carolina, because a lot of folks here are from South Carolina, you just get a lot less economic advantage. And it sucks. And it ain't niggas' faults. It's the structure, it's the government, it's the system. That's the problem. You know, because Houston money, the niggas got money in Houston, but they also on oil rigs, ruining the ecosystem. There's also hurricanes in Houston. Okay, so there's that. All right, what else do we need to do to our face? Put on eyelashes and a lipstick. I'm a basic bitch. Bitch, tap in. Ooh. 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 I'm also one of them basic bitches that like takes my lip and put it whatever I put on my lips and I put it in my purse. So the only Fenty gloss I have left up here is the clear one. And I wanted a little bit more color. I dating during COVID. If y'all are dating during COVID, give me the tips and the tea. Cause a bitch ain't trying to catch COVID. And that's way more important than me letting a nigga, finding a nigga who I want to let waste my time right now. I feel like I'm just doing so many things that at this point, that nigga need to find me. I don't need to find him. He need to find me. And so I'm not actively dating. Have I gone on dates since the shutdown? No. I haven't gone on a physical date since the shutdown. So we really been in the house. And I tried the Tinder thing for a while, but men, you know, I'm in the South. These niggas don't know how to carry on a conversation. They really don't. And I be like, this is too much work. You ain't got nothing to say? Okay. And I just start saying reckless shit, right? Like one dude had in his profile, he said something about money. And I was like, okay, what's your tax bracket? Cause, oh wait, I said, how many kids you got? He said 2. And I was like, do you make at least 75K? Cause that's my requirement if you got 2 kids. And he said, actually, I'm a millionaire. One of the kids ain't even mine. So you have a nice life. I was like, oh bitch, you ain't had nothing else to say. So I thought I would lead the conversation. Okay. Tell me what you mad about, my nigga. Then everyone wants to, what's your favorite hobby? What do you like to do in your free time? Nigga, all I got right now is free time. I like to get out the house. That's what I would like to do. What the fuck is going on here, bruh? All right, well, I guess we're putting on a matte lipstick because we don't have our glosses in here. Morphe. I gotta put a lash on. Uh-huh. I don't know why he got offended because I didn't say he had to be a millionaire. I just said that he had to make 75K because 2 nigglets is a lot. That's a lot. And is you taking care of them? Or you a FaceTime daddy? We don't want to do that again. How do you network when you move to a new city? I still want to put a gloss on top of this, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Oh, bitch. My eyelash glue is in the office. I guess we have to come on a journey with me while I get the eyelash glue off the floor. And all this, I could have just worn the lip gloss I wanted to wear. How do you network when you move to a new city? I think there's a certain level of privilege that I have because I know a lot of people. And so I've never moved to a city where I know absolutely nobody. I've always known people, and I'm in a sorority, so I can go to like chapter meeting, and I have a certain level of visibility, so people will be like, oh, hey girl, I live here too, let's hang out. That doesn't mean that it's made it easy for me to make friends because there's certain personality things working here as well. We got these hood ass lashes from AliExpress. Have I already put on a 320? 365. This looks like a 315. I don't think I've worn this kind. I say all this stuff. I am getting a lot of questions like, y'all must be new here. But I do talk a lot that I acknowledge my own privilege in moving. That like that's why I've been able to move, and it's been worthwhile for me because I have certain privileges, and it's like I don't know if people that are asking me about how I move and in comparison to how they want to move have these same privileges and access that I do. Uh-huh. How long does it take when I read multiple books at a time? Where the hell are my scissors? To be honest, I don't finish a lot of books. I read what I need to read, and I just talk about it like I know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't even know what I be reading, to be real. Uh, I think I might go get the ribs first, make sure they don't run out of stock, and then come home and record the video. Oh, y'all see in my messy ass closet. Sorry about it. Oh, what side of the eye does this go on? This might be too much. I might fuck everything up with just this. Okay, no. I want to wear lashes like Ari and Jada Waiter. You know that. With lots of baby hair. What was the question again? Oh, multiple books at once. Yeah, I don't really be finishing books. I just be reading the hypothesis and then like skimming the chapters. The last book I finished was Heavy, which I finished for the third time. I will be finishing All About Love because I'm producing a workbook on that I'm working on right now. And I'm debating, do I want to go live on Patreon later? If you're on my Patreon, I'm gonna see y'all hoes at 9 p.m. But yeah, I just don't finish the book, to be honest. Somebody's saying, can you be illiterate and still read books? I think illiterate means that you can't read. But I think you can have difficulty reading and still read books. I don't know how you would define yourself as illiterate. But, you know, when you're reading a book, if you're not reading it for school, why do you think somebody's grading you? Why do you think somebody's testing you? I think sometimes we have to have confidence in our own comprehension and our own ways of being able to absorb what we're reading and not be worried about how other people perceive what you've read. Do I think I will move again once the world isn't on fire? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. How is your braces journey going? It's going wonderfully. I have nothing else to say about that because there's a whole video about my braces journey on Patreon. If I had a chance to interview Kamala, would I? You know, I've interviewed somebody. So I've interviewed Michelle Obama, right? And you just submit to the Secret Service. I wouldn't have to do that again because I'm already in their system. But you definitely have to go through their strategy team with what you can and cannot ask them. And so I wouldn't pass up like if YouTube said, hey, we're going to have you sit down with Kamala, yes, I would do it. But I would just be a little wary about like, am I really going to be able to ask the questions? And I would definitely push back, like, the necessity of getting certain questions around, like, her neoliberalism and her policies. Oh, this is on all wrong. Yeah, we're not doing a good job of that at all. Wow. Let me not talk and focus, okay? So that's the only thing is sometimes when you're interviewing politicians, it is difficult to kind of get the opportunity. Okay, this is all messed up. I done messed that all up and the glue done dried. It is hard to get opportunity to ask them questions that are of value. Which makes sense, but also kind of sucks. What podcast do I listen to? Not fun ones. I listen to news podcasts like Vox, The Intercept, Nice White Parents, which was excellent. It was 5 episodes. Sis did that. Amazing. Very informative. Learned a lot. I listened to Revolutions. I tried to get into Dissect. I did, because I thought this season on Beyonce was good. But The Voice. You know? Do I or would I date younger men? I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not finna go looking for it. You know? Like, if a man presented himself as someone who has similar politics towards me, who can meet the things that I require, and he is younger than me, then I would consider it. I wouldn't let the age be a thing. But I think more so than age, my concern right now is like, who is you for real, nigga? Like, who is you? Yeah, I mean, can I meet a man with his hairline or his teeth, good credit, and who knows himself? Speaks in complete sentences. You know, like, where that nigga at? Honestly, at this point, and I've been arguing with my therapist about this, I think if I was going to partner with a nigga, I'd have to build him. I would have to build a nigga. And I know you're not supposed to put, you know, she's like, black women tend to look at men as condemned homes, renovate them bitches, and then they leave them. And I'm like, you know what, a nigga can leave me though. There's just certain things I want from him first, then he can go. Because to be honest, I'm trying to be an auntie with my homegirls. You know what I mean? But get a little dick every once in a while. So he want to go with other bitches, go ahead. Just give me the things I need first. It ain't got to be forever. And so, we're going to have to go to the mall and go to build a nigga. And, you know, if I was going to give you some real tea, part of the reason why I'm going to do a workbook on All About Love is because I had my ex read that shit. And I know he didn't. None of it got to a nigga. None of it. Like, how you read this shit, how you quoting this shit, and still doing the shit she says is emotional terrorism. Explain. Okay, niggas really is like a condemned home. But if it's a condemned home on some nice ass land, look, bitch, let me just insure that shit. A hurricane could come and take all of it. Is my insurance good? Is the question. Adult math. This is why the therapist I have is be looking at me and be like, okay. And she be like, your cognitive dissonance is interesting. I'm like, I know. But my lived reality says these niggas ain't shit. Baby, so we might have to just think about, where is this condemned house? Like, what's the land looking like? What's the neighborhood? What's the zip code? What's the tax? Like, what's the taxes on the house? All right, what's the value? Right? Because I live in Charlotte. You get a condemned home for the low, a condemned home for the low on like Queens Road. Bitch, I'm buying that shit. Hell yeah, I'm gonna take that house. All right, on a good plot of land in the Wedge in Charlotte. Fuck out of here. You think I'm passing that shit up? And I'm getting 1% on a mortgage? Fuck out of here. What you think this is? Let him find another bitch after he give me the shit I need. That's what I be saying. You know, you just gotta rethink this shit. Do I know any organization that, I would go from niggas to organizations that work with wrongfully convicted inmates? The ACLU, I don't know, this is like local to your state. So like if you're in Louisiana, I know the Louisiana Foundation. You could just look at bailout programs and the lawyers attached to that and call them and ask them. And typically the lawyers in your area, like if you call the DA's office, they'll typically know who in your city, even more so than your state, is working on. But typically the ACLU is like a good starting point. How often do I post on Patreon? Well, this month, don't gun me down, guys. I get at least one video. I do at least one video for the higher tiers, and I do 2 to 3 podcast episodes a month, and then we'll typically do a live for everyone on the Patreon. But a lot of the Patreon money goes to the book club, and right now I'm really busy with the book club stuff. So sometimes it just is about y'all are helping to finance these projects and how much time are these projects taking up, because this month I ended up hosting quite a few of the live discussions for the book club, which typically I don't. So I would typically be doing more on Patreon, but because I did more live discussions and I have to prep for all that, and it's just a lot of work, I just kind of got a little less done than I would have liked to this month on Patreon. Have I listened to the new Jasmine Sullivan song? First of all, I done listened to that shit 11 times. It ain't my story, right? It's not my story. Don't have too much fun without me. That, yeah, I feel that. Be miserable, nigga. You deserve to be miserable. But that I was such a mess. Nope, you were, not me. I'm not a mess. I am not the disaster. But I feel that song. I feel the sultriness of that song. I done played it. I done been melancholy with it. I love that shit. It's awesome. What are my views on body positivity and body neutrality? I don't know what body neutrality is. What is that? I feel like body positivity has been co-opted from the bitches with body contouring. Like, you got a good doctor. Stop lying, sis. Every influencer bitch doesn't just magically have big titties, a small waist, and fat ass. It don't just happen like it. Everybody can't just be a size 16 with a flat tummy. I ain't had a flat stomach my entire life. It didn't matter if I was size 2 or size 16, and I've been all them sizes. I still always had a gut. I want to see the bitch with the guts. And no, not your big titty and little bitty gut. You see me? You see me? All right, itty bitty titty committee, and it's still got a fupa that hang low. Swing low, sweet chariot. I want the guts that swing low. That's the tribe I'm trying to be a part of. I don't know what this body neutrality is. I don't know what that means, so I can't speak on it. Somebody gotta tell these people where I got my headbands from, because you can DM all that. That's the one thing I ain't finna answer. We did a whole IG story on this shit when I bought them. I tell everybody, screenshot this shit, because you gonna wanna know. And now we just have to rely on the community to let people know. Why is this written in caps? I feel like you are angry at the wrong. Are you angry at a nigga? Is this a rhetorical question? Or are you asking me, what is it you need from a nigga? Is that what you asking me? I need honesty and servitude. That's it. Small things. Come wash my dishes. Mop the floor. There's hair in the shower. Help me get that shit out. Can you take the trash out for me? Can you drive? Because I hate driving. Can you go to the grocery store, refill my waters, get me some eggs and some kale and coconut water? Can you wash the dishes again? Can you be honest though? What you got going on? Who you fucking? Who you want to be loving? That's all I want to know. That's all I need. And you know what? The sex matters. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a lazy fuck. I ain't committing no labor to niggas. No more labor. I want to get my nut and go. Get bread, get head, then leave. Then leave. get that bread, get that head, then leave. You know? I'm not friend. Sometimes I do a little something, right? But I think that little something comes after love. And I think we're just going to take a long time to get there. But wash my dishes first. And then we'll talk about the sex politics. But I think that honesty is a big thing. I think a lot of men don't know how to be honest with themselves. So now that, we'll definitely be doing more integration or like interrogating and figuring out the honesty thing. Because I didn't realize it was so much work for you niggas. I didn't. But it is. Oh, this eyelash, all kinds of wrong. Air pockets. Not on the lash. Did we do okay? I don't know, like, some people just didn't get their questions answered, so they asking them multiple times here, and now we have a lot. Well, Brian, a nigga that I know in real life, since you started slide into the messages and ask, what does a post-COVID look? It looks like the same life I'm living over on my Finsta that you follow. I don't know, like, this is my thing. I can't even think about that shit because I don't know when we gonna be post-COVID, to be honest. I don't really have a whole lot of faith that shit is coming as soon as we think it is next year. And I'm just gonna be wary of a whole lot of shit. And I have to answer this question on my Finsta because the goals I have in life are not for public discourse. But we're working on a podcast and we're trying to get into a PhD program. And so that, and the book club. We're just trying to make the book club pop. We're going to do it for the community and have more people join and engage in the readings. That's what we are going to be working on, regardless of however COVID goes. I will absolutely be tuning in to Brandy versus Monica. Yes, that's on Monday, correct? Or Sunday? It's on Sunday. I don't think there's any way for me to miss it because everyone's gonna be talking about it, so I'll be tuning in. Somebody again asked if I'm gonna move to Africa. You're late. I was just thinking about extended stay. I don't have nothing else to say about extended stay. I am not atheist. How long will I be on YouTube? Not very much longer is the goal. Okay, we're now back to questions I've already answered. Like a lot of questions. There's a lot of same questions. Like this Africa question is real top of mind. How soon should a man reveal that he's bisexual? I don't think there's like a clean answer to that. I think there's a lot of politics that go into that. And I think there's a lot about like, who are you meeting? I think a lot of people want to say from the gate. Would a man have to tell me from the gate that he's bisexual? No. But like, I feel like I don't know who's asking this question. I don't know if a sexually fluid man is asking me this question or a woman who has a concern about meeting a man. You know what I mean? Like who's asking is asking this, right? Like what is the point you're trying to get at here is what I want to know. Because I think most men who are actually sexually fluid are going to take care of themselves because not not fitting into mainstream understanding of sexuality causes a lot of harm and trauma and violence. Like, you open yourself up to that, right? Because you live outside of what is typically considered socially acceptable. And so I often, when that's not like who's asking this, because I think most sexually fluid people are going to take care of themselves, are going to do their best to put themselves in safe spaces, and are not walking in to situations where they are being deceptive because they want to deceive a person. And so they're going to typically seek out people who are already open-minded and understanding to their sexual fluidness. So there's not a lot of situations that most of us are going to find ourselves in if we are not open to a sexually fluid black man, if we are not interested in somebody who identifies as bisexual. Most of us are not going to find men, we're not going to encounter men who are open, who are bisexual and good with their bisexuality. Now, people out here talk about stop where I'm at. I don't know who you talking to, because bitch, it sure ain't me, okay? Our politics might not align, but I am never going to be uncomfortable speaking my politics. It is always going to be about an understanding. And it's not a faith. I mean, I think patriarchy ruins a lot of things. And but this idea that there are men, right? And I think we have to think about, what type of man are you thinking about? Like, what type of man do you envision who's bisexual, who's hiding their bisexuality and seeking to deceive you? And I think we often have an image of a very hyper masculine big man that can, like, because you have to think about the violence people open themselves up to by doing that shit. Like, I don't know why we keep thinking, trans and gender and sexual, like, because gender and sexuality are two different things. But why do we constantly think that people who fall into any scope of fluidness are, like, deceiving masses of people and not worried about their own safety first? If we understand that how easy casual trauma passes on to us, why do we constantly think that folks are going to open themselves up to more casual trauma we think we that special? You think you that special? That's what I'm wondering. I do think maybe and I think at the point where somebody's hiding their sexuality like that, maybe they're not comfortable with their sexuality. They don't really know. And again, it's performing patriarchy. It's performing masculinity. And there are all these other things that present themselves before you even get to the point of, oh, he's been lying to me about his sexuality. And I say this as someone who has, like, a lot of my friends are sexually fluid people. And so I know firsthand, like, when you really enter into that community, you realize how much they have to work towards minimizing the trauma that they open themselves up to, because we do not live in a society that is welcoming of people that live outside of the mainstream. And I personally think a bisexual man would be a lot more understanding. But that really pushes it for a lot of folks, because and it's like, it's very similar. Like, I was reading this article about evangelical Christians who vote for Trump, and they're gonna vote for him again because they're worried about culture changing so much that they can't live life the way they want to, and someone's gonna come into their cake shop and tell them they make cakes for gay people, and they don't want to have to do that. And I think it's very similar the way we talk about, like, the LGBTQ plus community. That's it's a lot of projected, a lot of perceived danger that we've never actually encountered in real life. We do not have real life experiences to base our opinion on men who identify as bisexual. So, I think niggas cheat regardless. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any more safety in dating somebody who defines himself as heterosexual, especially because a lot of men don't know themselves. So he can know his sexuality and still not have a sense of self. He can know he liked the pussy and still not have a sense of self. You know what I mean? So my much bigger concern is, what is their identity, their sense of self saying about them, before we even get to, like, do you like having thumbs up your butt? Yeah. Let's ask why bisexual people don't feel safe expressing and being open as themselves rather than demonizing the ones that do. Yeah, I mean, like this world is, and I think it's kind of amazing that we as Black women don't have understanding of like and maybe, you know what I think it is, because I get a lot of pushback on you. I have in the past about me being negative and complaining a lot about my life experiences. And I did talk about this in a video on Patreon, that I put language to the trauma that I've experienced in life. And that's what I really love about I May Destroy You, is that it gives a lot of context and nuance and language to the ways we've been like sexually assaulted. And I think so many of us Black women go through life not even realizing the violence that we have encountered in very intimate ways. And we just, oh, niggas ain't shit. Oh, men are horrible. Men are trash. Duh, duh. And because we can't say, we don't have the language to really talk about the nuance of what we experience, that we don't even understand how much the subsets of the Black community that don't get to participate actively in patriarchy as like cisgendered, heterosexual, masculine men, that everyone else deals with the same sort of like casual trauma that we've experienced. But I don't even think many of us know that we've experienced this trauma, because we're just so used to like, oh, it is what it is. I don't want no drama. I don't want to deal with it. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. And you just have to push it away. But I'm like, y'all, we deal with a lot of shit. So why wouldn't we think other people in our community also deal with a lot of violent shit? Okay? It's wild. I think some of us are just going through life like everything's okay. And a lot of shit ain't okay. And we keep thinking like it's wrong for me to say it's wrong for me to say it's not okay. Like, oh, people won't think I'm bitter or something's wrong with me if I talk about the things that have happened to me. And but then we absorb that, and then we don't account for the other ways people face casual trauma. So that's definitely, I think, a really good lesson that they kind of build out in I May Destroy You. Even when Bella goes on this whole kick about being like anti-rape, anti-sexual assault, and how she passes on trauma to her gay friend. To her gay homeboy, who she just kind of mindlessly thinks about. And we don't even think about the trauma that they absorb, because we're so kind of befuddled by our own experiences. So, all right, my makeup is done. So many more questions, but this was fun. I'm going to save this and put this up on Patreon. Thank you for joining me. Sorry if I called you out. I wasn't, the comments come so fast. I saw somebody say they're joking, so I wasn't really trying to be rude to you, sis. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, it was a man asking me that question about bisexuality. You got to be careful, because some people be digging for other stuff. You be like, what you trying to get at? I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments, because once you save the live, the comments disappear. You can't see the comments anymore. So I was like, I want to read what y'all are saying now. And it's too late because I have to end it. Okay, all right. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.